Did you know there's a new way to show Google Places on your map now? Even if it's not a Google map. It's called Places UI Kit from Google Maps platform. You don't even need to have a map at all. As developers, we know that providing a great user experience is key. When your app deals with real-world locations, that means giving your users the best possible information about the places around them. You want to show accurate and trusted details such as opening hours, photos, reviews, and ratings. This is what helps your users make decisions and engage with your app. But let's be honest, working with places data can be a real headache. There's a lot to manage, whether you want your users to search for a place or if you just need to show a good summary of what people will find there. Designing and coding a way to present so much different data coherently in your user interface can be hard. You may need to show user reviews, ratings, photos, summaries, and contact details in a consistent way that users can easily comprehend and that they trust and understand. Sourcing reliable and comprehensive data, keeping it really fresh, and building a user experience that is both intuitive and familiar to your users is a complex and time-consuming task. A design that users will instantly recognize and trust really matters, as it will encourage more app usage and engagement. But you may not want to shift your entire mapping stack just to get better place data. This is where the Google Maps platform Places UI Kit for iOS comes in. It's a library of UI components in the Places SDK for iOS that brings the comprehensive, familiar, and trusted Google Maps experience for places directly into your iOS apps without you needing to make any other changes to your mapping stack. There are three main components. Place Search. This lets you display horizontal or vertical place cards with scrollable lists of results. You can search using text queries or within a distance around the location. Place Autocomplete. This lets your users see suggested results as they type an address or place name. It returns a Google Maps Place ID when a user selects a suggestion. I'll say more about Place IDs in a moment. Place Details. This component shows customizable details for a single selected place. You can control the layout and the content. The amount of information displayed can be controlled for a number of different user experiences and scenarios. You get all the rich data that powers the Places API, but with minimal code and effort on your part. This Place Details view is created in less than 20 lines of code. You can also make the UI very consistent with configuration for content, layout, and styling, whilst retaining the trusted Google Maps appearance. Here's an example of a place search configuration that customizes the content, position, and behavior of the component, but applies the default Places material theme for a classic Google Maps appearance. There are a number of ways you can apply your own custom styling too. To see what's possible, check out our custom styling configuration app at this link, where you can play around with the options or use the AI-powered tool to create a style from an image you upload. It will even generate a SwiftUI code sample that implements it. Here's an example of how the Place Details view theme can be customized. You would use this custom theme in place of the default Places material theme from my previous example. One of the most powerful features of the Places UI Kit is that it's map agnostic. This means you can use any map in your app, including Apple's Map Kit, when you use Places UI Kit to access Google's world-class places data. This gives you the flexibility to choose the mapping solution that best fits your app's needs, while still providing a consistent and trusted user experience for place discovery. Let's dive into some code and see just how easy it is to get started. First, you'll need to enable Places SDK in the Google console and create an API key. We recommend that you restrict the API key to your app bundle ID. Next, add the Google Places Swift dependency to your project using Swift Package Manager and import it into your code. Don't forget to specify the API key in your app. You can use the app's init method to call placesclient.provideAPI as shown here. Next, if you want to use a map, set up a basic map in your view. Use any map SDK you like here. In the examples I'm going to show, I've borrowed a concept from an Apple WWDC25 MapKit session. It's a demo app showing information about fountains in Dublin, Ireland. I'll add Places UI Kit to my app, to show extra place information about the fountain, such as photos, ratings, and reviews. This is what the original app looks like. 4 fountains are shown on an Apple MapKit map using purple markers. We can extend the demo very easily to use Places UI Kit to search for places and to display detailed information about each place. First, I'm going to add some logic to draw a Place Details compact view on the map using the Map Overlay method. This will show when the selected item is changed by the user clicking on a map marker. To do this, I needed to create a dictionary that links the Google Place ID to its equivalent Apple Place ID. When the user clicks the marker, I use the Apple Place ID to fetch the Google Place ID from the dictionary to show the Place Details component. Here's a simplified code snippet showing how this works. The Place Details compact view is bound to a Place Details query. When the marker is clicked, we look up the Google Place ID for that place, update the Place Details query state object, and toggle the visibility of the Place Details compact view. Place Details compact view is great for small displays. If you prefer, you can load the full Place Details view instead. Here, you can see a Google Places UI Kit Place Details view loading in a sheet over the map when an Apple Map marker is clicked. This approach is great for showing as much places information as possible. The code is very similar. Just use a Place Details view instead of a Place Details compact view, and add extra configuration to customize the data shown. In this case, the Place Details view is added inside the Sheet method of the map view. The full Place Details view adds a lot of rich, up-to-date information, including photos, ratings, and reviews. Users can switch between the Overview details and the Reviews tabs. I've mentioned Place IDs a few times now. These are unique identifiers for places in Google Maps. You can find Place IDs either by using Places UI Kit Search or by looking them up individually using Google's Place ID Finder at this link. These examples are in Kansas City in the USA and Lima in Peru. They show how the Place Details compact view is used to show details alongside a map thumbnail from MapKit, replacing the original geocoding result in the WWDC25 demo app I've modified. This is useful if you want to show more than just the formatted address for a place. Here's some code to show the modification I've made. Whilst looping through the list of geocoded addresses, I've added a Place Details compact view for each one underneath the map. Now, let's see how the Place search widgets can be used to display results for specific places. I'll show how to search nearby to a location or use free text input, in this case, the name of a specific fountain. Place text search can be used to show a scrollable list of results for a text query such as this one for spicy vegetarian food in London. It's very simple to add this to a SwiftUI app as shown here. Specify a query and add a Place search view to the body. You also need a configuration object to select the content you wish each result to include, which is not shown here. Place Nearby search lets you find results by category within a distance from a location. This example is for restaurants and cafes in the same part of London. The code looks very similar, but instead of a query string, there is a location restriction for a circular area and a list of included place types. To apply this to the Dublin Fountains app, we can configure the Place search to only show a single result each time, like the original WWDC25 demo app does. The results here come from the 2 different search types, Place Text Search and Place Nearby Search, so you have plenty of flexibility in how to deploy these. Here is how I've defined the 2 different searches. Each is configured to only find the one specific fountain we're interested in. For the text search, the top example here, I've used a specific search query that finds only one result. For the nearby search, I have set a max result count of 1 to show the single nearest result. The SwiftUI body is very simple. We just stack the 2 Place search views on top of each other in a VStack. Finally, here's an example with basic Place Autocomplete and MapKit. As basic Place Autocomplete opens as a modal dialog, I've added a button to launch it. When the search box appears, the user can type to search for a place by its name or an address. Autocomplete suggestions can be customized using an autocomplete filter to restrict the suggestions to a country or a place type or to bias them to a region. The UI can be configured using an autocomplete UI customization struct. Here's the code for this example I'm showing. When the user selects a suggestion, you can grab the place ID and show a place details view or place details compact view as shown here. You can just add a call to basic autocomplete to add the widget to any view. Here's an example. The onSelection closure can be used to update the place ID for a place details query, bound to a place details compact view, shown in a map overlay as I showed earlier. Of course, there are many other ways you can integrate Places UIKit into an app, and it doesn't need to be map-based. Let's imagine our Dublin fountain store has made our users thirsty. Perhaps they want to see options for grabbing a coffee right inside their favorite chat app. Places UIKit is a great way to do this by embedding a place details compact view right into the chat. And just like that, you have a beautiful, information-rich view of a place, complete with photos, reviews, and more, all powered by Google. And the best part? It's really easy to integrate it with your app, whatever maps you use, or even if you don't use any. You're not just showing a pin on a map. You're providing a rich, interactive experience that your users will love. As a reminder, to get started, all you need to do is enable the Places API in your Google Cloud project and get an API key. Then add Places Swift SDK to your project using Swift Package Manager. So there you have it. The Google Maps platform Places UIKit for iOS is a fantastic way to add rich, engaging, and trusted place information to your iOS apps, regardless of which map provider you use. You write less code, provide a better user experience, and give your users the information they need to explore the world around them. Head to the documentation to find out more and to see our code samples. You can find more samples on GitHub, or if you're ready, just open the Google console to enable the Places SDK and start developing. If you have questions or want to share more, head over to our Maps platform Discord server. Thanks for watching. See you next time.